y'all, and welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos, and welcome back to another installment in my month-long series that I'm doing in November. At the time of me filming this is actually the very first video that I'm pre-filming for my month-long daily-ish uploads in November. So I don't even know what I'm going to be calling this series, but I do know I'm going to be using this palette, so I was like, you know what, I'm still figuring that out, but I can go ahead and pre-film this. But anyway, I knew I wanted to use this palette, so it's the very first time I am sitting down to pre-film for my month-long series in November, and I'm really excited about it. So as you guys saw from the thumbnail, I'm going to be using the Tribe by Juvia's Place. This is the palette from Juvia's Place that always comes in #1 when I'm talking about Juvia's Place palettes, and it's just such a near and dear palette to my heart. I love the color story, and it has been ages since I have gotten to play with it, so I'm super excited that I can actually dive in and play with it. I shared a first impressions review, and I think I even did a 3 looks later down the road with this palette, but I picked it up as soon as it launched, and it was one of the first impression type of videos I did on my channel, if I'm remembering correctly. But anyway, it made one of my top 10 palettes for 2019, and it has been probably that long since I've gotten to play with it. So I'm very excited to be diving into it today. You know I'm going to be focusing on these greens down here. I'm going to try to use as many shades in this palette as I can, because like I said, it's been a while, and it's always that palette that sits in the back of my head going, I'd love to use that again. I'd love to create some looks with that again. So we're gonna do it today. Any videos that I've done with this palette on my YouTube in the past, I'll go ahead and link in the description box. So if you want to watch more looks that I created with this palette, you can find it down there. But let's go ahead and zoom in and get started putting this on my eyes. Alright, I've already primed with the Zoeva Eyeshadow Fix Matte Longwear Eyeshadow Primer. I feel like I'm getting pretty low on that thing, but let's go ahead and dive in. Like I said, I've been wanting to play with this for so long. I'm gonna try and see if I can use as many shades as I can. There are 4 shimmers, so I don't know if I'll be able to use them all, but I definitely think I can fit at least 3 in, if not all, because I could use this as an inner corner, even though it's really pretty, like all over your lid. I could use it as an inner corner highlight. I don't know if this and this together would kind of muddle. I can use this on my outer corner for sure. So maybe I'll use these 3, because those are definitely the shimmers that catch my eye. They're super exciting. This one is pretty, it's just not as catching my eye. But anyway, let's look at the mattes. I think I can easily incorporate, can I incorporate all of them? Pretty much. I feel like I can use this in the outer corner. I can use this on top of it in the outer crease out here. I can blend out the edges with this shade, and then in my inner corner I can use this in my crease, and then this to kind of blend it out and soften it out. Let's do that. I feel like that's nice and easy, and I think I'll use almost all the shades. Like I said, the shimmers I'm still not sure, but we're gonna start with the outer corner like I usually do, and we'll see what happens from there. But yeah, I'm super excited to finally get to do a month-long daily upload in November. I probably already said this in the first video that I posted when I began this, so like on November 1st. I imagine I already said it in there, but I have been wanting to do this, I think, since Levi was born. I want to say that's when I got the first idea, but I had the idea kind of like in the middle of November as I was leading up to December, and I was just like, oh my goodness, December is going to be so crazy. I'm having a baby in December. He was born day after Christmas. Like, it would be so nice if I could just do November. And I love Thanksgiving too, so it's even more special to me. But as I said, when I thought about it, it was literally in the middle of November, so I was like, oh, bummer, maybe next year. And then next year, I think it was 2020, I had 3 birthdays. It was just a little bit insane. I don't remember exactly why I didn't, but I just, you know, did the usual. And then in 2021, I remember really wanting to do it, but again, I forget exactly why. There were little reasons. I think I just was a little scared to do it for whatever reason. But after last year, December is just so crazy. Like, I have a lot of birthdays. 3 of my 4 children's birthdays are in December. It's like obviously December, so holidays. It's just always a little crazy. So this year I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I am gonna do it, so we're doing it. And another reason too, I feel like in December, so many people are uploading every day. It's very overwhelming to keep up with, so I thought that might be something new and different to try, like kind of like people who are really into October and Halloween will do like daily uploads in October. So I was like, you know what, since I love Thanksgiving so much, I really love the more autumny atmosphere than I would say like Christmas. Not that I don't like Christmas, but like if I had to pick a favorite season, a favorite holiday to celebrate, it's definitely Thanksgiving. November-ish time period, leaves changing and stuff like that. So I was like, why don't I do that instead? All right, I'm gonna go right on top with this bright green, right on top of that dark green. Not all of it, just mainly up in the crease. I probably shouldn't have taken the dark green so high, but I was talking and obviously got distracted. But anyway, so this year I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, and then that way in December, that's another reason also, but like in December I'm trying to do daily uploads, but I also have a lot of like end of the year content that takes more time to film, and I just always felt very rushed and stressed out when it came to trying to fit all that in and keep up with daily uploads. So this way I'll do daily uploads in November, and then will come December, I will probably maybe post a little bit more if I have the time, just because there's a lot of end of the year content that I want to get out, but it can be a lot more relaxed. I don't have to try to stick to a schedule of every day, and I'll just have more time to be able to do those end of the year videos that I absolutely love, and that was just very hard to try to fit in when I'm also trying to keep up with posting something every day. So I'm excited to see how this goes. No idea, because I don't think anyone does anything like special, like at least October. A lot of people do daily uploads, so it's pretty like familiar with it, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe I've just been in the dark, but I don't think I've seen other people do or talk about daily uploads in November, but we're gonna try it, and I'm really excited to have the focus of it be on those older palettes. Probably gonna do really bad for my, channel review-wise this month, because typically older palettes don't do well. So posting a whole month of daily uploads with older palettes, even though I'm not doing every single day an older palette, I already told you guys that, but it's probably not gonna do great things for my algorithm. But I'm just excited to get to play with these again. I have a little crease going on here from the way it's looking. It's just my primer that I did not blend out well on my eye crease, so oops, my bad, but it'll get covered with a liner, so I'm not worried about it. It's crazy to think how it's been 3 years since I first got this. I think the video I did with the first impressions on this palette was in February of 2019. Can I work and speak at the same time? So it's been definitely a while. I'm gonna take another small brush. I'm not even talking about brushes. I usually try to mention it. My bad. But I'm gonna take this shade right here. We're gonna see how these two blend together. It might be one of those interesting / poor choice decisions when it comes to combining them, but I'm hoping it'll work, because like I said, I kind of want to use them all. Maybe, like I said, bad choice, but we're gonna try it. I'm gonna take this on the tippy tip of it. Maybe it should be even smaller than this. Yeah, let me get an even smaller brush, because I really don't want to get too all over the place with this brush. I want to keep it just in there. We'll use this little pencil brush. I want to keep it just in this line right here. I'm going to try to connect it to pretty much that dark shade, the first shade I put down in here. But that'll be a kind of nice combination if it works out like I'm imagining in my head. It should be a nice combination with the kind of bright inner corner and then with a nice dark green outer corner. But yeah, like that. So anyway, like I said, this is my first time sitting down to pre-record anything for November. I'm super excited to get started with it and try to get some of this stuff pre-recorded, so I have kind of like a chunk of videos already done so I can keep up. I'm sure I already told you guys in my initial video, but I have no idea if it's going to be actually every day. I'm going to do my best, but it might just be, 6 days out of the week. But that'll still, I think, be a lot of videos, a lot of fun. But I really want to try to do daily uploads just so I can use as many older palettes as I want. And I have a lot of fun ideas for other type of videos to throw in there. And of course, like I said, I'm also going to be probably still featuring new palettes on here. But that'll be more like the typical uploads of maybe like once or twice a week it'll be about new palettes. And the other times can all be about older palettes. So now I'm going to go into Aromo. Every time I go to like read the name to tell you guys what it is, I'm reminded why I usually just point to it. I think in general, Juvia's Place has names that are difficult for me to pronounce personally, but definitely in this palette, it's a bit of a struggle. But anyway, it's definitely still beautiful. Ooh, this shade is a little bit more, not neon, it's almost like a pastel neon orange. It's brighter than I remember / anticipated, so that'll be pretty. Definitely show up, because I was a little bit worried about these two kind of muddling together, just not meshing for whatever reason. I don't know why, but that was a concern and why I was a little bit like, I don't know, we'll see how this goes. But I think that's gonna look really good. It needs a little bit of finessing around the edges, which is like I always do, combining all the colors and whatnot, but as a kind of like the first initial laydown, I like how that's looking. That's gonna be really pretty. I'm gonna save all these to a playlist for sure so that you can find them, and I might even do 2 playlists, one for like all the videos I post this month, and then another one just for like older palettes, revisiting older palettes or something like that. I think that'll be fun to do, so that if you're someone who likes, you know, revisiting older palettes, you can easily find it on my channel and see all of the fun looks that I created with palettes that I almost said are past their prime, but you know, on YouTube world. Definitely not new and poppin' anymore, but I enjoy so many of these color stories so much. It's always like, I wish I had time to create and do more looks on my YouTube channel with them. And that's another reason why recently I've been trying to really work at whenever I do review a palette or share a video on a palette, trying to do more than just a first impression so I can include a couple more looks, because I don't know, I just always like going back to videos that I have more than one look on the video and just seeing all the different looks that I was able to create. It's fun, inspiring, and it just reminds me, you know, how much fun I had with the palette. I just dropped my brush. But yeah, it's just, I really enjoy it. And that's another reason why in my Paletteapalooza review countdown videos that I always like to include all the looks that I did with it, because it's like I had so much fun playing with it. I had so much fun, you know, trying to think of fun and different type of looks to do to keep it interesting and whatnot, that I always was sad that I couldn't, you know, share all of them with you in a video. So that's why I like to include pictures of them in my official review videos. Okay, so that's looking good. I'm gonna go back into this shade. I think I used the bright green in it, but I'm gonna touch into just a touch of this and go back into the bright green just to work on blending these two together. Right in here, always those transition spots sometimes take a little bit more time. I love this bright green. The, I think it's called Tootsie. Or Tootsie. That's cute. Tootsie. But whatever that's called. That really nice bright green. I remember doing a look, again, I'm gonna leave I think I did 2 different videos with this palette. One's a first impression and one like a 3 looks review. So this should make 5 looks with this palette on my channel. Anyway, I remember doing a look where I had both of these, like all matte look of this one, and this one was on my lid. Still one of my favorite looks when I think back on it. Such a fun look. Okay, so I'm going to take a bit of a fluffier but still kind of a, I don't know, oblong, ovalish shape brush, and I'm going to take this shade right here and I'm going to blend it into that green and just work to soften it out. I'm always really bad at this, but I should have mentioned I'm getting over a cold, so if I sound nasally and you're wondering what's wrong, that is what's wrong. I always mean to sit down and mention it at the beginning just so I can explain if you are curious, and then I totally forget until halfway through the video and I'm like, oh yeah, I probably sound really annoying. But yeah, that is why. Ooh, it turns more, it's like, yeah, I guess it is a yellow. It's like a highlighter green shade that it's like, is it, well, I should say it's like a highlighter color so that you question, is it yellow or is it green? That's how I would describe the shade, but it's really pretty. And so far using all these mattes, they're still as good as I remember. So pretty. Let's see, gonna go back into that darkest shade. This shade, I will say, looking at it in the pan, does look like it has a little hard pan. Don't think it's like anything that I did, because like sometimes shimmers can get hard pans if you're like sticking your finger in it. I mean, I guess I have swatched it multiple times in the past and whatnot, because I guess the oils in your hands can do hard pan, but I definitely don't do it that often. But it's got a little hard pan on the top of it. Do any other shades? Maybe a little bit in the matte orange, but those are the only mattes that might have a little bit. But this is going on 3 years and it's still blending really nice. All right, take a moment, make sure I don't have anything under my eyes. I didn't see anything. I don't see any smudges. Good to go. Let's keep it moving. Let's do the shimmers. I have no idea if I was using this back in the day, but I'm definitely using my NYX glitter primer. This tube is getting a little light. I think I have a backup one ready to go. How many have I bought of this? At least 2, if not 3. Like that I've gone through, I should say. I think I've finished 2 of them. So that'll make 3. I definitely finished 2 of them, I should say. Maybe I finished 3. I have the worst memory, so don't quote me on that. But I've at least gone through 2, and it's just a great solid one. Easy to, you know, pick up at Ulta, not too expensive, and works decently well. Like, I don't have any huge complaints. I don't think I've ever yet found a primer that is like the best of the best, and you know, shimmers absolutely do not budge. But it definitely, those type of products I feel like do help, and that one seems to do a great job helping, so I'm pretty happy with it. But let's go ahead and grab some flat brushes because it's time to put my shimmers on. What should I do? Okay, let me swatch them out real quick and see. Or I shouldn't say swatch them out. I'm just going to touch them on my finger. Like I said, I definitely am going to stick this shade. We'll put it just right out here. Probably not a whole lot to see, like for you guys to be able to see, but just a little bit there. Maybe I'll even bring it down here because it is a pretty smooth shimmer. So I kind of want this orange. Should we just do these two shades? I feel like that would be a little dark and just not popping. These two shades would probably be pretty, but also this shade doesn't offer a ton of color. You know what? I'm gonna do this shade on the middle of the lid, this shade on the inner corner, and I'm gonna probably just tap this across or just apply it to lighten up this basically, because I feel like that's gonna be really pretty if I put this down and then take some of this and top it over, as opposed to just using this by itself. See, it's a little transparent. It's still shimmery but transparent, but it's really pretty on here. It stands out more, and it just shows up better on my eye. Ooh, that's pretty. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I have no, like I think I've said this 3 different times. I have no idea when I'm posting this, so maybe it's not that far into it, but if we're in like the middle-ish of the month, let me know, how are you liking my November series? Like I said, I still haven't decided what I want to name it, so I don't even know what to like call it. Someone said, what was it? Katie Copia, I think, which I think was a really cute name. That's the one I'm kind of leaning towards, just because I was gonna call it like palette cornucopia, because cornucopia talks about like abundance. Is that because I was looking into what cornucopia means, because I feel like it's kind of symbolic with Thanksgiving, or like when you see a cornucopia, at least I think of Thanksgiving. So I was looking into what it means, and it's talking about like having plenty, having abundance of, and I feel like I can definitely say I have an abundance of palettes. So I was like, oh, it'd be neat to stick cornucopia into the series somewhere. And then I asked on my Instagram, so if you're following me on Instagram, you guys are the first one to know about this series coming out. But I asked over there because I was like, I need help, I need ideas, I'm really struggling with something fun. For when I did daily uploads in December, I called it Kate Miss, because it was like not Vlogmas, but I was posting every day, and it was a Christmas season, so that's why I called it Kate Miss. Anyway, I was really struggling to think of something fun and unique for a Thanksgiving or just November daily uploads, and y'all came up with some really great ideas. So as of the time of me recording this video, I have yet to sit down and decide which one I'm going to do, but I really enjoyed reading through all y'all's suggestions and deciding. Like I said, I think it was Kate Copia or Katie Copia, but that play on words with cornucopia, Katie Copia, that was cute. Anyway, putting that on, that's pretty. I'm going to probably just, let me just try cleaning this brush off. I don't need to make a big mess with a ton of flat brushes. I'm gonna go into this one right here. This is a fun shade too. I remember really liking this shade. Their shimmers, have they changed much over the years? I do know with these shimmers at least, they're more of like a subtle type of shimmer, especially with the shimmers that have been coming out recently. They probably wouldn't hold much of a candle to it, and like there's not as much sparkle as what's going on in the market right now, but like as far as pigmentation, ease of use, and you know, just looking pretty and colorful in the eyes, it definitely shows up. It's very smooth, easy to pick up, and still like applies really nicely. So overall, maybe I wouldn't mind a little bit more sparkle in my looks, but it's still a nice formula. Still really nice and smooth and easy. The orange is a little bit more of a subtle shimmer than that first shade I used, the more bronzy tone. That bronze has a little bit more sparkle to it. And then once I put the other shade on top, it'll have even more sparkle, because that shade is also pretty sparkly. Maybe I'll tap some of it onto this orange to kind of liven it up, because like I said, the orange is just a little bit more of a subtle type of sparkle. It's pretty though, nice pretty orange. I'm going to go back to that first shade I put on, like I do when I'm blending my shimmers, different colors of shimmers on my lid, and I just tap that over the line to get it blended, just a wee bit like that. So now I'm gonna go in, we're just gonna see how long we can use this brush. This is the E206 from Urban Decay. I'm gonna go into that darkest shimmer, the green, and we're going to put this on the outer corner right here. Just like this. This shade looks a little more sparkly than the orange. A little bit more reflective. Not really sparkly, I would say it's a little bit more reflective. It also feels a little bit more thicker than the orange, so I'm trying to work to make sure I smooth it out. But this is almost the same color as that matte green, so feels a little redundant doing this, but oh well, we're using it. That was the point of trying to use as many of these shades as I can. It's been so long since I've played with this palette. You have to let me know, do you own this palette and do you reach for it often? This is definitely a palette that I can 100% say if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I would use a whole lot more just because I like this color story. It's just a favorite color story of mine. Cleaning off that brush, we're going to go back into that orange. I'm cleaning it off with like a color, this isn't a color switch. This is actually from Dollar Tree, but it's like a color switch dupe. And it works pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it for $1.25. And I think I bought that before they went to $1.25, so I got that one for $1. What a steal. But anyway, just packing this over to do the blend. Might have taken that too far. But yeah, it's just such a fun color story. Definitely a favorite of mine. And anytime a palette comes out that kind of remotely has this color story, I get excited because I just like playing with these colors. It's just a lot of fun to me. I'm just going to take that same brush without even cleaning it. I've been taking the same brush the whole time, but without cleaning it, I'm going to take that same brush and just tap it over that line. So there's a little bit of each on the brush at this point, but that'll give it a good little blend, I think. I feel like I'm extra like raspy in my voice when I'm talking, so I hope my cold isn't super annoying to listen to. And hopefully I don't get any more colds, because if I'm going to be pre-filming a bunch of content, I don't need to be losing my voice or sounding disgusting when I'm trying to record if I'm like super congested or something. Okay, so now I'm going to go into that shade. Last shimmer in the palette, and I can't believe we're actually going to do it where I use all of the shades in the palette. Let's do it. Camera stopped recording, so hopefully I didn't miss too much. But honestly, that shade, this shade, the first one I put down, is really pretty just by itself. But as you can see, topping this on top, because it has that base, it really does shine. I feel like if I had just went in with this initially, it would have been almost like an invisible kind of iridescent shine, so it just wouldn't have popped as much. But putting this on top, definitely very pretty. I'm going to take this up and put it over that orange, this shade right here, just a little bit, kind of cut out the crease. I'm in the middle of October as I'm filming this, so getting a little bit, for me, this is definitely like pre-recording. I don't usually get to start stuff like this early on. But anyway, as I'm sitting here completing this look, I'm like, how long am I gonna have to wait to be able to share this with you guys? Because like I want to jump on now on my Instagram and show you guys or post a close-up of this look because it's turning out really, really nice. But we will have to be patient and wait, and eventually we will share it. So now I'm just gonna spend some time, like I do. I'll probably edit it out just so it doesn't get too long and boring. But I'm gonna go around the edges here. Oh wait, I gotta do my lower lash line. I was ready to close it out here. Let's do my lower lash line. I'm gonna go ahead and use that same shimmer brush that I've been using for all the shimmers in this look. Clean it off. I'm gonna go back into that darkest shimmer and I wanna see how it works, like smudging it underneath my eye. Personally, this tends to not be something I don't like using, just shimmers on my lower lash line because I feel like it makes a mess. And oftentimes like you have to work too hard to like get it to apply, but I just want to try and I feel like that's looking fine. And especially with having a dark matte in here anyway, it's like I would just use the dark matte, like why am I using a shimmer? But I don't know, I just wanted to see how easy this one was. I'm definitely getting some fallout, so not ideal, but you can definitely get a nice depth, and it actually like sticks, adheres, and smooths out pretty well. It's not like super flaky or chunky. So I feel like pretty much the only fallout I have is from that darkest shade. I don't really see any of the light or the other colors, so that's good. But let's go ahead and what do I want to put? You know, I want to put this green. I want to wrap it all the way around because I just love how it's looking. So I'm going to go first into this shade and then this shade all the way around the lower lashes. I'm going to start with that brighter green. Oops, got a little messy there, but that's okay. I'm going to go right on top and then bring it in. Hopefully, let me see if I can get it to pop. The brighter green kind of pop a little bit like that. That looks pretty. And then I'm gonna take a fluffier brush, dip it into that lightest shade and go around the edges and blend it out. And then for my inner corner, I'm just gonna do that same yellow shade. Let me go ahead and do it real quick. Or not yellow shade, but the light shade I put on my inner corner. I'm gonna pop that in here all by itself because it's definitely a gorgeous inner corner highlight. And it's such a smooth shadow too. Like it's not chunky, it's not like super flaky for sure, and it's not like super like chunky sparkles to it, so it's a very nice smooth shade and very like a type of formula that I like to use on my inner corner, because I know it's not going to bother my inner corner or make my eyes water, but it's definitely like super shiny in my opinion. I feel like it's got great reflex. So like I said, I'm going to just take a little bit more time, blend out here a little bit like I like to do, maybe soften up in here going towards my, blend a little bit out here like I like to do till I like the blend. I'm going to put on some wing liner for sure, because a black wing I feel like it's going to look so pretty, and then put on mascara, and we can meet back here at the very end to show you guys the completed look. So be right back. So little Miss Sophia woke up when I was doing my my mascara, so she's going to join us for the outro. She's getting so big already. She'll probably look even bigger. I know, she's like, hey, I just want to eat right now. So she'll probably look even bigger by the time I post this video, but you're oh so close to 2 months. I can't believe it. So anyway, she's just gonna get a snack down here while we finish out the video. Anywho, I'll go ahead and throw up close-up so you guys can see the look all completed. This is the final look, and I really like how it turned out. I know I say that with the majority of looks I ever do, but you guys know this color story definitely isn't my type of color story, and I was super happy to see that after, you know, not using this for so very long, finally getting to dip back into it. I loved and enjoyed it as much as I remember enjoying it and loving it from before. Like I said, gosh, 3 years ago I think. It's been a while, and it's still such a good palette. I will say the one thing I noticed as I was finishing out my lower lash line is I feel like the mattes weren't wanting to stick very well to my set under eyes. I have concealer, I put a lot of powder, I put some powder on, refreshed it before I sat down to do the look. So as I was blending it in, I noticed that the dark shade with the shimmer stuck down pretty nicely, but the other two were kind of, I mean, I still got the tint of color. I feel like it still looks complete, but really up close in my mirror, it's like, you're not sticking as nicely as you were up top. So that might be the only thing with age, is maybe it's just not able to stick to a dry base as well as it used to, but to a tacky base on my lid, they all, I think, performed beautifully. I have absolutely no issues, and I'm super excited to say that I used every single shade in this palette on my eyes today. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the video. I had a lot of fun going back to the Tribe palette, still as good as I remember, and yeah, I think this is my favorite look I've ever done with it, for sure. If you want to see the other looks that I created, as I said, I'll leave the videos down below in the description box. I looked at the thumbnails before jumping back on here to finish out this video, but it's definitely funny looking back to see the type of looks I was doing at the time, because definitely that when I was doing those looks, they felt very out there, very bright and colorful for me, and then today looking at this look, it's like, wow, you've come a long way, Katie. So anyway, yeah, as I said, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying the uploads in November and just being able to revisit so many older palettes. I asked you guys a couple times on Instagram, and I'm gonna try to do looks with all the palettes that are requested, but at the very least get as many uploads as I can and get to play with as many older eyeshadow palettes as I can, while still giving you guys a newer content with newer palettes, and then just fun videos thrown in there talking about, like, you guys know I always like reminiscing and talking about my favorite type of palettes. I'm going to be doing some re-ranking as I'm trying these older palettes. I'm going to let you guys know if I would rank them differently. So lots of fun videos this month. I can't wait to continue sharing them with you, and I'll see you guys very soon in my next video, hopefully tomorrow, if not the day after, but see you guys in that video. Bye.